Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's topic is called Creative Imagining, or Our Imagination Creates Reality. We have to realize there is no fiction. An imagined activity that we have can produce a physical effect. If you look around you, our entire physical world was born out of the imagination of someone. Everything from a bottle of water, from a lamp, somebody had to imagine it first. And what people have imagined have produced everything we see before us. If you believe in God or the universe or the ethers or infinite intelligence, there was an imagination that created what we have as our earth and our world. But we humans have created through what we have imagined. That's what makes us different from the animals. We have an imagination that we can bring to life. Our imagined dramas become physical facts, become tomorrow's facts, because causation is mental. Our mental states are causative of physical effects. We must realize our responsibility as a creator and imagine only the very best, because we can create what we don't want by imagining what we fear, what we doubt, what we worry about. So it's our imagination enacts as a sort of a play, as a stage in our mind, and these will cause the physical facts of our life. We believe that reality resides in the objects, the solid objects we see around us, that things just happen, just spring into being, that they're created moment by moment out of physical facts. But causation does not lie in the external world of the facts. The drama of life originates in the imagination of man. The real act of becoming takes place within our imagination, not without. I heard an amazing story that in 1898, a struggling author named Morgan Robertson wrote about a fabulous Atlantic liner, larger than any that had ever been built before. He loaded the ship with rich people, and one cold April night, it crashed and was wrecked, crashed into an iceberg, and it sank. He called the book Futility, to show the futility of everything. It was published that year by the M.F. Mansfield firm. 14 years later, the White Star Line, a British ship company, built a steamer remarkably like the one in Robertson's novel. The new liner was 66,000 tons displacement, and Robertson's was 70,000 tons. The real ship was 882 and a half feet long. The fictional one was 800 feet long. Both could carry 3,000 people, and both had enough lifeboats for only a fraction of this number. But it didn't matter, because both were labeled as unshakable. On April 19, 1912, the real ship left Southampton on her maiden voyage. It was full of rich passengers, priceless cargo, just like in the book, and she too struck an iceberg and went down. Robertson called his ship the Titan. The White Star Line called its ship the Titanic. Isn't that amazing? I thought that was amazing. Does imagining create reality? We have heard it said, life is but a dream. We know the song, row, row, row your boat. Life is but a dream. Our imaginal reality, man's imagined reality, creates the events of our lives and of the world. Imagined activities can produce results and manifest far remotely than where they started. We don't realize how events are caused by the imagination of people, by what you hear people talking about, the things they imagine, things we see on the news, things we read about. It creates thoughts. It's like a scientist in a control room directing and guiding a missile through space and time when you send out ideas. One who paints a picture, for example, or somebody who writes a play or a book, or create a song, and other people all over the world see it, read about it, hear about it. They receive those original creative thoughts, and their thoughts are raised, and then together it creates another entity that's created. One person's thoughts affect and have an effect on other people's thoughts, and it could be far away from where the original thought came. Different attitudes create different lives. People can face the similar circumstances, but their attitudes and their imagination will bring them to a different life. Life undergoes a change of appearance when we change our perception. We create a new pattern by our perception. I've heard it said that when inventors create something, other inventors around the world seem to come up with the same invention or idea at the same time. I think that's amazing. It must go out there and affect each other and stimulate something. Our opinions, both private and public, create effects. The future is determined by imaginal activities of man now. Your dreams, what you envision, what you imagine, what you talk about, it will create the future. We can be confident that we can determine any future that we desire with our persistent imaginings. And it could be good or bad. What we see, what we hear, what we think about over and over creates a tide of energy in a way. And it moves into the ethers and it creates that where it is sent. Imagining needs a certain interval of time to develop, but will realize itself in time. It's the law. It will. There is no fiction. It was imagined first. And if you could imagine it, the possibility exists for it to come to fruition. Imagining it fulfills itself in what our lives become. Years ago, what we thought was science fiction has come true. You look at old cartoons like the Jetsons. The guy, he was on a cell phone. He would be Skyping. He had a robot named Rosie. Star Trek and Twilight Zone and all those shows presented things that looked like science fiction. And they've all come true. And there's a lot of things that people are thinking about that we haven't seen that we will see. Today's fiction becomes tomorrow's fact. All the inventions, technologies, industrial accomplishments were first imagined. And right now I've been hearing talk about the metaverse and all type of cryptocurrency, and I'm sure you have too. People imagined this, thought of it, and it will slowly, people will hear about it and look it up and try to learn about it. We have YouTube these days to learn about anything we want. And a person's ideas and talking will affect other people. What we see comes from the origins that were first imagined. We reap the fruit, but we may forget the seeds that we have planted. Things may come to us and we can say, I would never have chosen that to happen. But maybe you feared it or you doubted it. When things happen that we love, we say, oh, that's because I planned it. But if it's something we don't want, we don't want to believe we could have created it by imagining something. See, in life, the events do not always come up where we have strewn the seeds. So we may not recognize it's our own harvest. Events are the emergence of what people have imagined. And we are free to imagine whatever we desire. We have to awake and know that we are free to imagine. But we have to also know that we create reality. We've been told this. It's hard to take if what we see around us is not what we want. But when we think something, when we imagine it, so it is. All imaginative people in the world are setting forth sort of enchantments, like casting magic spells by their words, their dreams, their thoughts. And people who are asleep and not conscious of what they're doing, what they're hearing, what they're seeing, what they're saying, what they're listening to, are passing under the power of these other imagination, other people imagining, and they don't realize it. Sometimes we're caught under the spell of what others have imagined, good things or bad things. So make sure your experience, your life, your thought are really the product of your own imagination, your own creating. And so imagine the very best that you know. Please give this a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel so that we can go on discussing very interesting topics. Be amazing, be awesome, be the very best.